Hi, I'm Tom. Been teaching guitar for a long time now, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that I have my students do to try to get the F chord a little more quickly. We're going to do the open F and the F bar chord, and I'll show you some of the things that I find help. I do teach privately in Illinois. If you're interested in getting in touch with me, you can go on my Facebook page, Lessons with Guitar Tom, or you can go to my website, guitartom.net. For any reason you want to contact me if you want any further information. Alright, so we're going to talk about the F chord. The F chord's a tough one. There's a couple of basic reasons why the F chord is tough. I think the main reason is this is how our hand likes to be, and that's the F chord. It's pretty much upside down. What I also find is that I think our natural inclination is to start with the index finger. And I think that can be a big problem on a lot of chords, actually, and a lot of other situations. What I try to get my students to do is to locate, typically in a situation like this, the second and third finger, these two guys, and get them set up at a good angle first, and then make the index finger adjust to them. The problem I find is if people start with the index finger, we can get those first two strings from a number of different angles with the index finger. The problem there is that we're not thinking about where these guys have to go. And so what I try to get people to do is to get them set up first. So in an F chord, for instance, I would have the second and third fingers set up at a good angle where we're going to get clearance and get those two notes both clean. Once again, if the hand is like this, the third finger under the second finger, we're pretty good. The minute the third finger needs to be above the second finger and clear of the string that the second finger is playing, we need to get up a little bit more this way. Typically, I'm going to tell people to get your thumb down lower, and that's going to be part of what we're going to do. So we're going to start with our second and third finger, and we're going to pause and close in on my hand. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my second and third finger where they need to be, not just on the strings and frets they need to be on, but in a proper way where I'm going to get clean notes. If I'm too flat, my thumb's too high, typically a problem. Thumb being too high, I'm going to mute. A lot of times the pinky down can also cause the third finger to flatten out and mute whatever string is under it. So we're going to start with our second and third finger high. We're going to put our pinky up. That brings your palm up. We're going to bring our thumb. You can still see my thumb. My thumb's going to be down like this. Typically I will push on the bottom of the neck, which gives me pressure here behind my index finger and keeps my hand tilted this way. So, we do a couple things here. We're going to get our second and third set up properly. We're going to get our thumb down here. Can you see that? Yes, no? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can see that. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my index finger down, and I'm going to try to get it to bend backwards. By bending this way, it pushes my hand out in front. If I go this way, if my knuckle is round, I'm probably going to mute things. So if you got a big hand, you might be able to get away with things, and if you got skinny fingers, you might be able to get away with things. But I find a lot of people just can't get these chords, and I think I understand why. So we're going to go second and third up, first finger down, thumb down, palm up, pinky up. And if we're lucky, we're going to get all four strings nice and clean. Okay, I find pinky down on D chord too. If the pinky's down, there's a high likelihood we're going to buzz or mute the high E string. So anytime the third finger is above the second finger, on a D, on an F, on a C, on a G this way, or a G seventh, same thing. We got to twist this way. We got to get the palm up. Pinky up helps that. You can do whatever you want, but I find that the pinky up gets the palm up, and that helps a lot. Now, if you still can't quite get this F chord, and sometimes if the guitar's a little big for you in general, doing anything on the first fret puts your hand at probably the worst angle you could start with. So another thing I would do then, if someone's still having trouble with it, would be to go up to the 7th fret for the third finger, the 6th fret for the middle finger, and then do the same thing. Thumb pushing up on the bottom, index finger bent backwards, flat, pinky up. I find that if people can't get it on the 1st fret, sometimes we can get it on the 5th fret, where your arm's a little straighter, the angle's a little bit better. And once you get a feel for that, and one, we always want to check, make sure we're getting each string clean. If I can get it almost bar in the 5th fret, then maybe I'll try it 4th fret. And if I can do it on the 4th fret, I'll do it on the 3rd fret. And if I can't do it on the 3rd fret, maybe I play it on the 4th fret for a little while, until I can play it on the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and eventually the actual F chord on the 1st fret. Now, one nice thing about the F chord is it's a major chord and it covers all 4 strings down here. So if it's a major chord and it's only these 4 strings and they're all covered, then I can move it around. So if I'm playing that same shape on the 5th fret, I'm really playing in A major. F, G, A, B, C, D. So great chord. Also, if you get your pinky up, you can use your pinky. Okay, the F bar chord. Definitely not easy, but also not impossible. Another thing I would say with any of the bar chords, the F shape being this, not a bad idea to start on the 5th fret and get a feel for it. I find that people get things a little more quickly, and once they get it, they can move it. So a couple of things with the bar chord. First of all, if you know what a capo or capo is, our first finger is going to turn into a capo on this. This thing is the nut, and if we're doing a bar chord, we're basically replacing the nut or moving the nut up here, and covering the open strings is basically what we're doing. We're going to take an E chord. But with an E chord, we have open E, open B, and open E. So if I'm going to move those fingers up, and I want to keep that major chord, then I'm going to need to bring those open strings with me. And that's really what the bar does, or a capo does. Covers the open strings or replaces the nut. So the first thing I tell my students, base up the index finger, right about here. Go right under the neck. Brings the palm of your hand way up. Keeps this finger straight. We're hopefully only wiggling there. A lot of people will hook this and try to just cover the strings and not get those notes. Maybe they'll get a C sharp minor where they're covering that hook. But the minute they get to, say, G sharp minor, they're in big trouble. So what we need to do is make that finger rigid. I also will tend to use the outside edge of my finger, which is very bony and straight, which is also like a capo. So basically I'm going to tilt it slightly. I'm going to bring my thumb way down here. If my thumb is way down, my palm is up. The problem a lot of other people have is it'll be up like this, and then they can't quite get those fingers in position. So another time we're bringing the thumb down this way, brings the palm up, and may give you the clearance you need. I had a student who was real close to getting his bars and couldn't quite get it clean. We tilted his thumb that way, his palm went up this way, and suddenly he could get them all. So another trick is to, once again, position your other fingers first. Get up high on the neck, get these guys at a good angle. Once again, starting with the index finger can present problems for the other fingers. So I find that if we think about those other fingers first, and then the index finger, get things a little more quickly. Alright, so we're going to bring the index finger up to the base of the finger. We're going to get it very rigid and straight. Our thumb's going to push on the back of the neck, on the bottom, which will bring our palm and our pinky and our ring finger up and give us a pretty good chance of getting this. And once I can play that, hopefully eventually I can play it on the 1st fret. Once again, 1st fret's the hardest place to play anything. It's a bad angle on the hand, high tendency for muting things. So if you're still having trouble with F on the 1st fret bar or F on the 1st fret open, try it up on the 5th fret, see if you can get a feel for it there, and then slide it down. And that's it. Visit me on guitartom.net.